What's up, everybody? Hope all of y'all are doing undeniably fan-freaking-tastic out there. Hope all y'all are doing undeniably fan-feline-tastic out there. It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's vlog day once again. This is a symbol right here. Aww. This is Queen Enterprise's cat, one of them. Yes, I'm vlogging from her front yard right now. Why you look at my nose? Why you look at my hand? I've never seen a cat lick this much. Are you okay, Simba? Alright, let me put you down. Alright. But sorry, that brought my train of thought. Anywho, yes, I'm in the front yard of Queen Enterprise's house. Yeah, we still hang out from time to time. Yeah, we still do. Like I said, we're still friendly with each other, okay? Like, no issue. Why are you trying to climb me right now, Simba? Dad, watch the claws. But yeah, I rolled into town Saturday, where Queen and I went to go watch the new SpongeBob movie. And it really wasn't that bad. Like, I was very blown away by the look of the animation style they did, which I couldn't complain about it, but then they started like getting out of the water, and I could tell where a green screen was used like in a lot of things, but you know, it was fine. But the biggest thing that struck me was the one of the cast members. Alright, it wasn't on my schedule today to actually review the SpongeBob movie, but whatever. Okay, one thing I will say is that whoever was casted as the Flying Dutchman kind of took me off guard. Okay? I wasn't expecting the Flying Dutchman to be voiced by Mark Hamill, aka Luke Skywalker, aka Joker from the Batman animated series of the 90s. Oh, yeah, can't forget Chucky too, but nobody wants to talk about that. Anywho, so yeah, other than that, this one movie, it was pretty good. No issue. Alright, but look, this past week for me, it's been pretty good. Can't complain. Real quick though, another shout out for Asper Cream and Spurg Sauce, aka Digital Junkyard. For those of you that haven't subscribed to her channel already, you need to. If you're gonna support my channel, you gotta support her channel too, because you never know when I might pop. You never know when I might pop up on her channel as a guest star. Alright. It was this past Wednesday where all three of us, we ended up going to Rock Hill, and yes, Spark Sauce, she did end up vlogging a little bit with me there as well. They took me out to do some exploring at some various thrift stores, and they hooked me up with some clothes and this nice, cool jacket that I'm rocking right now. So yeah, that was pretty cool. And I ended up going to Chipotle again. It was only my second time going to one in general. First time I went to Chipotle, yes, Queen Enterprises was there. That was pretty cool. And second time, she wasn't there. No issue, but she was there in spirit. And keep in mind, Spurg sauce and Aspercream, they are vegans as well. And look, I have no issue with vegans. I have no issue with vegetarians. There are literally worse things that you can call yourself these days. But they got me really curious because they tried this thing called sofritas, which is like a plant-based protein, and I wanted to try it too. And you know what? That might have been the best burrito I have ever had from anywhere. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. But anywho, yeah, I was a part of her Rock Hill vlog earlier this week. So if you get a chance, go check that out. All right. But yeah. What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I know today I had to give a few reviews on a couple things. All right. So, man, like, what is it? Isn't today like the 12th? Yeah, it is. Today's the 12th. Because I know this Wednesday I got my physical scheduled at the doctor's office so I can get my wrestling license renewed. Alright. So, I have some notes here on my phone about stuff I gotta review. Alright. This year is only like a dozen days old, and so far I've already been able to finish up with My Hero Academia, Stranger Things, and as of last night, Peacemaker. So I'm going to be rambling about all three today. Alright, so for those of you that haven't seen these yet, I'm going to go ahead and leave a timestamp in the description below for you to skip ahead into certain things, okay? Now, I'm gonna be, I almost said rambling, it's not ramblings. I'm gonna be talking about My Hero Academia first. So for those of you that haven't seen the last season of My Hero Academia, go ahead and click that timestamp in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. So, watching the last season of My Hero Academia was probably the best way to end my 2025, but also to launch my 2026. Alright? The way I've been looking at 2025 and 2026, the way it's been looking is like, it's almost as if we are embracing the death of the 20 teens. Because, yes, My Hero Academia just came to an end. Stranger Things just came to an end. And, heck, even Bullet Club, New Japan came to an end. I couldn't even watch Wrestle Kingdom this year because it doesn't feel like Wrestle Kingdom without Naito. And I know he's not even contractually signed with New Japan right now, so... Anyway, back to My Academia though. Of course, Deku had to lose his power. At the very end, when he was trying to save Shigaraki from his mental prison, of course he had to lose One for All. But was that literally the end of One for All? Like, he literally just sacrificed the entire One for All, even though he says that an ember still exists within him? Not sure what that means entirely. But still, regardless, with or without One for All, it was still nice to see him still being All Might's successor, which, by the way, seeing that moment of all the pro heroes, all the students graduating, I was happy I got to see that. I was happy to see that everyone growing up and like seeing how, like, brief scenes of how everybody has embraced being a pro hero in their new life. But yo, they made All Might look like an old crackhead. Look, I get it. When he's not in his muscular form, being very, very skinny, man, I just saw the age and the wear and tear on him. Like, I was very, very convinced that All Might was going to die at the hands of All For One. Like I was convinced that was about to happen. But thank goodness for Bakugo. Like, I was leaving out of the last season thinking Bakugo had died, but finally seeing him get resurrected, and heck, even Edgeshot coming back to life as just a teeny tiny string almost, and now we having UB on at the very end. I couldn't help but laugh at that. But Bakugo coming back and then embracing his best power, like now literally each and every individual sweat droplet is a bomb. Like, dude, come on. Bakugo got his wish. He finally became the #1 hero, even after Deku had to step down. That's the way it's looking. But you know what? Hawks is like, nah, screw the ranking system anyway. This poor puppy and a kettle over there across the street. Aww. Anywho, man, oh, also, frickin' Stain had a babyface turn at the very end. Like, I was not expecting Stain, of all people, to come in like he did. Like, he came in as a house of fire, and I was screaming at the TV happy about that. But look, of all people, like, I am happy that Bakugo was the one to bring down All For One's physical body. And he went out laughing because he said, "Yeah, I'm going too fast," because he was like blasting his way through the town, through the battle. He was going super duper fast. Like Bakugo was able to do something that All Might wasn't able to do. Bakugo was able to do something that Deku couldn't do, and that's take down All For One himself. And I know All For One, he still had Ares quirk in the work of himself, and like he was reducing his age gradually. But I couldn't help but laugh at that scene, like a little baby crawling towards Bakugo saying, "Yeah, we still about to square up." And then once that baby opened his mouth for that last tentacle, Bakugo literally caught it in his teeth. Like, dude, that was awesome. All For One didn't go out screaming angrily. He went out crying. Alright. But yeah, after all the battles was over, the ending, it felt very close to home. But before I explain that though, it almost felt like, in a way, this anime was... in a way, it felt like this anime was kind of, playing off every anime stereotype. And they was addressing that within themselves without even verbally addressing it to the point of breaking the fourth wall. Alright. For example, they tried cashing in on the most common villain backstory in the form of a kid named Koki Torimoto. Like, right there around the very end, they was hyping up this sad villain backstory of a kid that escaped a house, and he has all this like dark energy surrounding him, until all of a sudden, like, a grandma takes him by the hand and says, "No need to worry, Granny's here," or something like that. And it wasn't even explored any further after that, because literally right across the street, Deku was looking over, kind of confused and like, "Oh, okay." And like that happened. It became a side story in the main story, and it didn't even have to last longer than 5 minutes. And even without One For All, like I said, Deku was still able to find a way to become All Might's successor, because if you remember, All Might, he had that mechanical suit going on, almost like an Iron Man version, representing most of the powers for Class 1A. And now I'm seeing Deku back with a suit of his own, with Lord knows how much technology is in that thing. So, even after all that, Deku was still able to, grow up to be a teacher in his own right at UA. And to see him kind of, pass along the torch in his own right to this kid named Dai, Like he was passing the support torch to Dai, saying yes, he can be a pro hero too. But now what I meant when I said that the ending felt a little bit close to home was that I have been struggling to find my own self-worth through my own depression or whatever. And I have been looking at all these pro wrestlers as the best version of myself that I can be. But in the My Hero Academia universe, everybody was holding up all these pro heroes to be the best standard that anybody else can be. And, thought I heard something over there. Anyway, all the students were holding up, well, most of the students used to be holding up pro heroes as the ultimate goal, like the ultimate dream job. And that wasn't the case either. Because it even got to a point where they were saying, like, oh, only the best of the best quirks can be used for pro hero work. But there was a lot of people that was explaining how they wanted to use their quirk for other regular jobs. And, you know what, that felt special. Like, the main spotlight wasn't the only spotlight that everybody was, like, thriving to. So yeah, like, seeing how My Hero Academia wrapped up, it was very, very touching and very, very heartfelt to a massive extent. I just wish that we could have heard Eri sing too. I think there's like a deleted scene or two out there where Eri did sing like she said she wanted to. And also, do you know how useful Shinso could have been at the very end? Like, I know once Aoyama had to drop out and leave UA, Shinso stepped into the role, into the class himself, but still, Shinso could have been very useful. Like, where the heck was he hiding? Yeah. Already 16 minutes into this thing. Okay. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed My Hero Academia, and I can go ahead and end the review here. Timestamp here. Okay. So, now I have to review Stranger Things. And I'll go and put the timestamp up right here. Okay. So, man, I didn't start watching Stranger Things until like 2023. Shout out to Joey the Worm Ford and his wife, because I remember when they was talking to me about it first. And I actually tried getting into Stranger Things a little bit later than I should have. But I remember 2023, I actually tried watching all of them, like back to back to back to back to back, back to back to back in 2023. And then, of course, on that last Birchfield, why am I using air quotes? On that last Birchfield adventure, it was him that invited me on a trip to go take a look at those Stranger Things filming locations, and sure enough, right there in episode 1 of the last season, I was seeing multiple locations. It was like, yep, been there, been there, been there. Like, I was already getting reminded of that very last trip I took with him. But, what can I say about the last season of What can I say about the last season of Stranger Things, though? I can sum everything up with the ending when I say, I believe. Yes, with the way Eleven sacrificed herself, I believe that Eleven is alive because they wrapped it up beautifully. They all got invited to a graduation party, but they decided to go out with one final Dungeons & Dragons story. Dungeons & Dragons campaign, whatever you want to call it. And poor puppy. Poor puppy. But yeah, with the way Mike told the story at the very end, I do believe that 11 is alive. Like, that felt very special. But look, there really did... I know I read a lot of people saying that there needed to be more Demodogs, Demogorgons, Demobats in the very end battle. But really, did there need to be? Did there? Reason being is because, look, the way it was explained, you had like the regular world right there. Then you had the upside down, which was explained as a wormhole or a vortex, whatever. But then you had the right side up area, which was like sealed by like almost like a rock planet almost, whatever. Um, the sky was the right side up, and that's where Vecna's realm was. The reason there couldn't be Demogorgons and Demo whatever up here is because they was all living down here. Like this was the main ground up here. They couldn't just go up there when their main target was down there. All right. There's no telling how far up the Demobats would have needed to fly, but to my understanding, there wasn't really that much of actual there wasn't that really much of actual holes in the roof of the upside down. All right, and that's what kind of got me curious about that. But look, of course, Joyce had to give the final blow to Vecna. Joyce, aka man, my mind is drawing a blank right now. Whoever was playing as Joyce, she was the one that stood up to Beetlejuice. She was the one that killed Dracula. So of course she had to be the one to kill Vecna too. But look, say what you want about 11, say what you want about Dustin and Mike and everything, but the character that stood out most to me, especially in this final season of Stranger Things, was Murray. Murray had probably one of the best character developments of the whole series. Because Murray, he seemed like the most happiest out of everyone in the whole series. Because Murray was a guy that started out as a conspiracy theorist. I mean, yes, some of his conspiracies were proven wrong, but for him to actually be in the spot where he's one of the main heroes, he's one of the main helpers, and for him to put his intelligence up against that of a school teacher in Scott Clark, like, I could tell Murray was very, very happy to be where he was. And just, I could see his confidence oozing out of him. The way he kept calling Mr. Clark Snookums. Like, I might even be stealing that insult, by the way. So, yeah, out of everybody, Murray probably had the best character development out of everyone. So, yeah. All in all, yes, I did love how Stranger Things ended too. And look, I don't care what you say about a conformity gate, a secret episode 9, whatever. Alright, let the story just be over, please. Please. Alright. And now, I will go ahead and put the timestamp up here now. Alright. I've only got 6 minutes left in this thing. Okay. So, for Peacemaker though, you know what? I might review... this wasn't part of the plan, but I might go ahead and review Peacemaker next week. Yeah, you know, I'm going to go ahead and review Peacemaker next week anyway. Because I'm running out of time here, and... yeah. And plus, I know... next week, I got to go ahead and start announcing how I'm going to be going about here in 2026 for the new season of SSP content. Alright? I know I need to get a live stream schedule soon, and I know sooner or later, here in the next couple of weeks or so, I'm going to be taking a trip to West Virginia. Alright? So my church has been regularly taking these trips up to West Virginia to help out with the Haleen issues up there. And I have never been on a mission trip before, so I know I kind of wanted to be more hands-on than I've ever have been this year. So I said, look, let me know when you're going. I want to go too. The way it's looking, I might be going up there for Royal Rumble weekend, or I might be going up there for the first weekend of February. I don't know yet. Y'all stay tuned. Alright? But, yeah, other than that, folks, look, I guess I gotta go ahead and wrap this vlog on up. Thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it. And I know this ending seems rushed or whatever, but I'm trying to like race my camera's time limit right now, and I don't really feel like, you know, trying to go back and edit anything right now because I don't have time for it. But yeah, thank you all for tuning in. I greatly appreciate it, and yeah. Until next time, make sure all of you remember to be outrageously optimistic year round. Booyah! I'm out. Love you all. And here comes my hug of appreciation. Bye.